Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SeoSamba. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SeoSamba.com. That's SeoSamba.com.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Franchise Marketing Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. Today on the show, we have Chris Walls with Go Minis. Welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Lee. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about Go Minis. How are you serving folks?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you there for a second, Lee.
Tell us a little bit about Go Minis.
Well, we are a portable storage company. We help people move and store their goods, and it's probably one of the most convenient solutions out there. So if you need something, if you're going to move, for example, we rent by the month. We can deliver the container to you, say, the first of the month, and you're going to move on the 15th. You have 2 weeks to load it up. You give us a call. We can pick it up and move it across town for you to your new place, drop it off in the driveway there, and you could unload it and take 2 weeks to do that since we rent by the month. So it's one of the most convenient and non-stressful ways to move. And we also use it for storage. So if you have, maybe you have pool furniture or you just have too much stuff around the house, you give us a call, we drop it off for you, you load it up. We can store it at your property, or we can take it and store it on our premises for you. And when you need it, you just give us a call, we bring it back. So it's a pretty convenient, a simple option for storage, and a lot better than traditional self-storage where you have to rent a truck and load it up and then unload it and that sort of thing. So it really saves you a lot of time and a lot of frustration, frankly.
Now, what was the genesis of the idea? How did this come about?
Well, we were formed in 2002. And I think that the founder was a man by the name of Bill Norris, who's still involved with the company and a shareholder. He's moved away from the day-to-day, obviously. But he saw what Pods was doing and thought he had a better idea, a more convenient idea. Pods is one of our major competitors. And our delivery system is much different than theirs. We have larger containers. But the idea itself was just a great idea. And he wanted to expound and make it what he thought was a little better. And I would agree that our system is a little better than all the competitors out there.
So now, is it that the container that I'm going to get, I can use it as my personal storage unit down the road, or I can just use it to transfer belongings from one place to another?
No, you can keep it for as long as you like. In fact, we have a number of people who do that years and years, which always surprises me. But yeah, you could keep it for a few days if that's all you needed it. We rent by the month. You can keep it for the month. You can keep it for 2 months, 3 months, several months. It doesn't matter.
Now, if I'm going to have that on my property, is that something that I have to worry about permitting or getting permission, or is that something that it's just like kind of a shed and they don't care?
Generally, no. There are a few towns, primarily in California, that have come up with some ordinances for how long they could be there, or you may need a permit. But the vast majority, 99.5%, it's a temporary structure. You don't need any type of permitting or anything along those lines. Even
though the temporary might be a year or two,
That's correct. And I think that's what's happened, right, is that some people have kind of put it out there. Hey, that's been there. The code guy may go by. That's been there for 2 years. We should probably look into that sort of thing. Or some neighbor may complain or something along those lines. But it could be for quite some time. But given that it's not affixed to the ground, our containers are actually on wheels. It's pretty temporary.
Now, what does it look like from the franchisee standpoint? What kind of background or skills or career path had they been on prior to getting involved with you?
That's really a good question, and they're from all over. Initially, we had a lot of people who were in the moving business, so this wasn't necessarily their primary business, and that's changed a little bit. And we have them from all different types. We have ex-corporate folks. We have obviously people that are moving, people that are just looking for their next endeavors, and they look at the numbers and say, hey, this really works, and it's a relatively simple business to operate. So if I'm looking for someone, the key franchisee. You need someone, I think, that is just motivated to go out and market and become a member of their community. I mean, the folks, one of the things that we believe sets us apart is that we are local. We have the support of a franchisor who's a national organization, but each one of our franchisees gets involved in the local community, donating containers when they can for food drives or for certain charity events. A lot of our guys donate to local sports teams so they can use them to store their things and that sort of stuff. And that's just being part of the community. And we look for folks that are willing to do those types of things. And, the more knowledge they have about marketing, the better off they're going to be. But we can certainly train them and teach them all the different techniques we have on the digital marketing side and that sort of stuff. But I'm a true believer in that while you have to do the digital marketing day in and day out, there still is no substitute for actually meeting people, shaking hands, and obviously in a COVID-safe manner these days. But getting out in the community and getting people to know that you're the local guy that can supply these types of things, it really makes a big difference.
Now, is the consumer typically kind of that residential consumer, or is it a B2B play as well, where business people are using it as well as kind of people that are just moving or just have a lot of stuff?
It's both, Lee. We have once you get established with a franchise, probably 25 to 30% of your business is going to be commercial. And that could be a local builder, that could be a restoration company, that sort of thing. And then you do the residential side, which is moving and storage. Also, restoration projects. Hey, I'm redoing my kitchen and I really don't have a place to store everything while, the new stuff came in early. I got to put that somewhere and I have to take delivery of it, or I have a place to put some of the old stuff, or, I don't want everything to get dirty and that's in the home and it's going to be a mess. Let me throw all my furniture that I'm going to keep in there and that sort of thing. Redoing my floors and getting new carpets, that sort of stuff. So
the franchisee, I would imagine, wants to become best friends with the real estate agent, the mortgage person, like that whole kind of, real estate mafia group of people that are kind of serving the community? Absolutely. And we've had some really creative things done in that way where our franchisees have created a partnership with a local realtor, successful realtor, and the realtor would actually offer a Go Mini as part of the listing. Some people they're going to use them for staging. Hey, let's get rid of the clutter. Where are we going to put it? We can put it in a Go Mini, and the realtor will work a deal with the realtor. They'll deliver that, and everybody's happy along those lines. We've also had some guys who went out and actually had magnets made for some of the more successful realtors in their market. And when they put the Go Mini in the driveway, there's a big, almost billboard of that realtor provided by Joe Smith Realty, that sort of thing. So that's worked out well. So yes, that's actually one key area that we encourage our franchisees to go out and try to explore and go to those realtor meetings and get to know the realtors who are doing well in the area. Now, in order to be the franchisee, is it something that I have to actually take possession of all of these storage units? Like, do I have to have kind of a big space where I can hold dozens and dozens of storage units?
Yes, you do. And we recommend about an acre of land. You don't need a building. Our containers are built so that they can withstand the weather. They're watertight, and they're made of galvanized steel in most places, and they last quite a long time. Our containers last about 20 years to 25 years. They're quite durable. But you would need we recommend about an acre of land that's fenced and has some security. The good thing is most of our folks that rent our containers generally don't come back to them. We bring them to them. So it's not like you're going to have a lot of public coming in and out like you would at a self-storage unit. It's a little different model, but you do need that land. And in some of the more dense areas, you can put that outside of the community that you're serving, so you can find land a little bit cheaper. That makes the economics of the franchise a little better as well.
Now, when you're buying the franchise, is it something that, I buy 50 or I buy 100? Is that how you sell this, or is that how it's sold, or is it just like when you get a franchise that includes X number of units?
We sell the franchise based on the population in the franchise territory that you get, your protected territory. So depending on the size of the territory, and generally we like to start about 400,000 as our smallest that we'll sell now. You're going to need containers. If you had a 400,000 person territory, in your first year, you're going to buy 68 containers. And then as your territory, if it gets bigger, obviously you buy more containers. And then you have an obligation to buy containers every year until you reach a certain saturation point.
So it's something that it kind of you don't have to kind of buy it all on day one. You can kind of grow into it as the kind of your brand matures in that market.
That is exactly correct. And it works out very well. We like to have people fully stocked when they start out so they can get out there and start putting them in the community. And maybe they have some extras. And sometimes, like I said, they donate or they put them in a good spot so people can see them, because one of our best ways of marketing is
the container, right?
Right.
Container.
It's a big billboard and your neighbor sees it and say, hey, what's that? It's like, oh, we're redoing our floors and we put all our furniture. Hey, we're doing that next month too. That's a great idea. Next thing you know, we have 3 containers in that neighborhood. So you always want to be prepared for that.
Were you kind of affected by that container shortage that you hear so much about with the supply chain disruption?
Very much so. 2021 was a great year for us from a growth standpoint. And our containers, we had a record number of containers ordered, and we had a record number of containers get caught up in that shipping crisis. So it was very painful, quite frankly, as we're having such a great year, to have containers that used to take 10 weeks to get here, now taking, months and months and months. We had some frustrated franchisees. I was very frustrated, but we worked through it. And, one of the things that I've discovered through the crisis is there's a difference between having vendors and partners. And our container providers, which we call minis, our mini providers were our partners. They informed us what was going on. They stepped up and they helped out. We went back to our franchisees, informed them what was going on. They stepped up and they helped out. And the franchisor from the corporate office was able to help out because the cost went through the roof. We were seeing shipping that I was paying 5X the time, 5X what I paid last year,
right,
which is just crazy. And, we made a decision as a company, as a board, that this is temporary and we can't let this stop our growth. So that's why we went out and we tried to put everybody together and say it's going to cost us more, but we're going to split that cost up a little bit for this 1 year to try and get everybody the containers that they need as quickly as possible. And we were able to do that. We finally got them all delivered this year, and we saw just phenomenal growth. It's the best year we ever had in 2021. We're going to have close to 30% network growth this year. So I think we made the right decisions, even though it was a little costly for us.
Now, has that crisis abated, or are you still kind of working your way through it?
We're still working our way through it. It has abated somewhat. We saw some pricing come down here late in 2021, but nowhere near what it used to be. And the timeframes have shortened as well, which is almost as important for us. And we expect that to come down as we move through 2022. And talking with, I'm not a shipping expert, but I've become one more than I would like, to be honest with you. When in 2023, they do expect it to abate as new ships come online that they've been building for the last 2 years or so and help relieve things. So it's definitely getting better, but it's still not good.
And so what do you need more of? Like, are you actively looking for franchisees in certain regions, or like how has your growth been? Is it from kind of the west to the east, or are you just taking them where they come?
We take them where they come. We do have certain areas that we target that are available. We're in 40 states right now. We're gonna crest 100 franchisees this year. We added 14 new franchisees last year, which is a record year for us.
Wow.
And yeah, it was phenomenal. And what I love to see, very honestly, is a lot of the growth came from internal, from folks that are already in the system.
So they were just buying more territories? Yeah,
which to me is just, okay, I really think this business is doing well for us, going places. And we added a lot of things this year. What I've talked to the corporate staff about is, how does the franchisor add value to the franchisee? How do we grow their business? So when we looked at different things this year, we did our first national television commercials. We did a couple, and we went and had a studio do it, and really came out spectacularly. We ran them for a couple of weeks in October, really as a test run, just to see which channels perform the best. And then we're going to do in earnest in spring, which is our seasonality, when we start to get busy again, or busier. And run, we'll have a couple of months of running that commercial. So, we're doing things like that. We just did an animation, which I think if you watch any television and see advertisements, you're seeing a lot more of the animation. We did that. And we had it broken down so our franchisees could use it on their local markets if
right.
they'd like to. or if they wanted to do social media. We had it, it's a 1 minute animation. It's cut down to 30, cut down to 15, cut down to 10, and cut down to 6. So they can use it in all of their social media. Hired in some marketing folks to help them with their social media campaigns and make sure everybody's up to snuff on that. We revamped what we call our quote engine online, which is the primary way that our franchisees get their business. And we're actually in the middle of a new operating system that we've created internally. And it's really from cradle to grave that it takes leads that come in from the quote engine. It internalizes them, puts them right into the operating system automatically, gives our franchisees the ability to communicate with the potential customer via text, via email if they'd like, does the contract automatically with e-signatures, processes the credit cards, helps with the delivery, text the client when we're on our way. I mean, the system from soup to nuts is just phenomenal, and that's only available to GoMini's franchisees and no one else.
Now, I would imagine if somebody's buying the franchisee's buying additional territories, there's a lot of economies of scale in terms of if I got an acre, I can just pop and get another half acre, another acre adjacent, and then keep all the storage units together.
Absolutely, Lee. You can do that right there. You can stack the containers if you have a forklift and for storage. And, the other side of the coin is if you have an acre on the west side of town and you want to expand to the east side of town, you can get let's get a half acre lot and get the economies there. And the beautiful thing about this franchise is it does not take a lot of employees to run, and it scales so nicely as you grow. And when you look at, when you start out, you can do it with one person. One person could be driving the truck and with our new system and can be answering potential clients and that sort of thing. Usually it's two, but that grows. When you start out at 100 containers, 2 people can handle that. 200 containers, that's still 2 people. When you get over 200, maybe you're going to add another truck. So now, and that'll take you maybe to 400 containers. So you can really grow, and you don't have to add a lot of employees, which, as we all know in today's market, that's very, very difficult to find. So it's a big selling point for us. And our largest franchisee only uses 6 employees.
Now, are you seeing this as kind of some folks doing it with like a parent and a child, like a recent graduate? This kind of gives them a family business that they can run together?
We're seeing that. We're seeing, corporate refugees. We're seeing people that have other businesses, and they started looking at this and saying, hey, this might not be a bad adjunct. For example, some of our best franchisees are actually self-storage owners, and they're maxed out. And for them to expand, sometimes it's impossible. So when they look at this, they say, geez, I'm getting a lot of people here who need storage. Maybe I can offer them mobile storage.
Right. It's just more options on their menu.
Right. And they can go find a lot that's going to be in another town that maybe is cheaper, and they can do that. And the economies that they're going to get from the mobile storage is going to be better than their self-storage, which is a very good business in and of itself.
Well, congratulations on all the success. If somebody wants to learn more about the opportunity, what's the website?
Website is www.gominis.com.
And they can find out if they need storage, and they can find out about the opportunity there?
Yep. We have a franchising website right off of that as well. You can click right through it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today, Chris. It was great chatting with you.
Same here, Lee. Nice meeting you.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.